Hello. Okay. Okay, I'll be live. So, today I'm gonna do a bit of our code reorganization. So I kind of found that terminal here. I found that basically some npm stuff. Let's take a look at our project, right? So, and let's go to lean.backman.c. So, I kind of found that we have a bit of an explosion of header files. Basically, we have a separate definition for graphics, separate definition for input. Based on this logic, we will have separate definition for sound, separate definition for assets, and so on. And I really don't like that. So I would like to have all the definitions that is used by the game in one single file. So not definitions, sorry, declarations. So what that means is that I can navigate more easily. I want to be able to navigate more easily. I would also like to minimize the number of files where we implement these declarations that the engine will use, that the game will use, so we can quickly navigate around the files. Because if I continue like this and have everything in a separate file, sooner than later I will have explosion of files, which is something that I really don't like, really don't want for this project. So I would like to keep everything in sane, controlled amount of files. So here's the idea that I have. I want to switch to my tablet. Basically, what I will do, I will have a game, right? So there will be some game code right here, right? And the engine itself, the runtime, right, will pass in the definitions of functions. So there's going to be an API somewhere which declares all the functions, right, that the game can use. So the game uses these functions declared in API. This runtime, they will provide implement them, right? And then runtime calls game with implementation. This game will end up, it will be a DLL or SO, right? This will be an exe or whatever Linux calls it. And this will just be some .h file here. So yeah, let's basically do that now. So okay, and in here in this h file, I will also declare game functions, right? So I'm thinking we should have 3 functions for the game. One will be init game, right? So game needs to implement that, right? So these are the functions that the game needs to implement. One will be tick, and one will be, I think I'm gonna call that terminate game. So the game needs to declare this, define this, and they are used, by this is very clumsy, but they are used by runtime to call the game, right? So runtime will call the game via functions that are defined in the game itself, and we will declare these functions as well in the API.h. So let's do that basically, right? So I would really like to have a structure like this. So first thing I'm gonna do here is I will just switch to another branch. Let me see what it will do. Okay, I saved git commit m. So that's my add sprite. So that's so I'm on master branch here. And everything is now committed. Just push it to the mode. And let's do checkout. I will switch to another branch. Code refactor. Just so that I don't really mess up with something. I can always, if I do that, I can always return to my master. And the first file I would like to create is that api.h file. And I will call this engine api.h. I think that's a good name. And let's start. If not def engine API, so Copilot is recommending this. Let me switch him to inline mode. Define engine API, and now define engine API, and then if engine API, right? So this is my first few lines in here. And let's take a look at the other files that we have. So since I believe I can make all the stuff in the common H defined in here, because both runtime and the game will want to include this. So let's just put that in, put this stuff in. I believe this will be fine. Yeah, so let's paste it in, and voila. So I'll sooner than later I'll replace these dependencies to std out, but for now I'm just gonna keep them. Okay. So sorry about the noise. So now I can close this common.h. I've solved it basically. Another thing, let's take a look at game API, right? Game mat, sorry. What has happened here? Okay. Should we include this into the engine API? Or not? I'm not 100% sure. Who will call this function? Will it be the platform, or will it be the game itself? I think I can leave this out. I will not include this into the engine API. Okay, so let's do the next file. GL graphics, he definitely doesn't belong in there, so that's an implementation file. Okay. Jump to engine. So glfw input, it's also implementation file. So we have this input.h. Yeah, I believe he definitively belongs to the engine API. So I will copy all the definitions from here. Yes, and paste it in here. I will add input so that we know it's in here, and just paste the thing. Yeah, fine. Okay, that belongs into this. So now I can close it because we finished it. And the graphics stuff, it definitely also belongs into the API. So these are only declarations, right? So we will put that into engine API. Let's put in very well graphics. Nice, the system is kind of smart. And let's put that in. So it's not large file, it's just 200 lines of code. But what we need to do now, I will define. So as I have defined this gfx fn pointer, I will define a function. I will define a new macro which I will call. So I don't want to have special macros for graphics functions, special macros for, you know, for I don't know, sound, asset, and so on. I will have everything, I guess, together. Or should I have it just like I have it now? Yeah, let's keep it like this. So it's gonna be pointer to function, clear screen. Okay, and what's the, how do I delete the file here? I want to delete the input H and graphics H. Is it just D? Yeah, it's just D. So graphics H is deleted, yes. Input H is deleted, yes. Okay. And I think I can also delete this one. Yes, okay. The next thing I will do is, what's this Pacman? It's a folder. Ah, that's on my folder, yeah. I thought it's a file. Why is it in here? I told myself. Next thing I'm gonna define is pacman.c. That's the, it will be pacman. Just a second, let's think about this. So here I will rename this macro to API function. Let's call it like that, yeah. Change words, EAPI-FN. Let's just call it like that. It's a nasty name, but so this will define our stuff. Let's go all the way up with this. Somewhere here, I guess. Yeah. So I define these functions and then I define the graphics API. One other thing I will want to define somewhere here. So I will use this memory. Oh, not memory, but memory. And you remember we defined in the bitmap this thing is called memory arena, so I will need that. And I will need that. So let's yank that out and put it into the engine API and just paste it all the way down. That seems fine. So that seems fine. So this is static inline function. So even if, because we have declaration, it should be implemented separately in each translation unit. So that will work fine. Okay. Let's write this down. So we will see what we will do with bitmap page and so on. Okay, so we have memory. We will have audio, yes. So we will have some kind of in here type dev struct audio API. Let's see what I'm actually wondering what the, yeah, that's just offers something here. So let's just make it like this, audio API, because to be honest, I still don't know what the audio API will be. And now let's go all the way down and let's declare our game API, right? Okay, so we want to have don't want game frame buffer. We want to have a function define game API fn name. Good. Actually, what I want. And we will have so now I want to have an init function, right? Let's do it. Game API function init. Let's call it. Yeah, I actually do want to pass in all of this stuff in it. So this is except for input state. Right. Or maybe I will just initialize the APIs here. Let's see, graphics API, audio API. I don't want to initialize. Do I want to give him? Let's do it like this. Memory arena. So without input state is gonna be passed into the game function. Yeah. Then I will have game API fn tick, which will take input state and float delta time. Yes, that's correct. And I will have shut down, which doesn't take anything. That seems fine, right? So, these are the three functions that the game will need to declare for me. Okay. And now I will make the file Pac-Man game C, and I will include engine API. Okay, and I will specify void should that be external? I'm not sure. Static void init. So again, let's put it into inline mode. Jump engine and split this so I can see it nicely. Then fetch up Pac-Man. So where's my init? So I will specify memory arena here. Game memory. Then I will say graphics API, graphic GFX, and audio. Audio API, and that's the sound, and that's it. And I will just put them like static memory arena game memory, static graphics API graphics, static sound audio API sound. I will simply make them available to the game, right? So let's see. Value of that memory arena to let's make it should I rename this like probably a global, right? Yeah, global G G G G something like this. Okay, and then we have static void update and tick actually. We pass in the input. I think it should be const input state because I'm not gonna change it, right? Input state and float delta time. And I would like to return false. So this definitely will be const, right? But I would like to return false. I would like to make it change word to return bool. And then this function returns true if he wants to continue, if the game wants to continue, or false if the game wants to end the loop. So then I can't have this nice. Maybe I can just give him red. Change word return type. Return type, and I can say void bool void, right? Okay, and a static void shutdown just does nothing, right? And for now, I will only do, I have those debug messages, yes, debug, so that it doesn't, debug, Pacman init, very nice, X. Debug, Pacman game tick, and then I can input state is the X delta time. But the argument has type what was the X? Is that fine? X. Okay, then I can maybe cast it into long, yeah. And then I can specify here the backpack again shutdown. Yeah, it. Okay, so that's the game itself. And the lean pacman now, so this one has problems because we have some unused functions. One thing that I could do, let's go in here and solve this guy. So he doesn't have input or common. He will have, I will just include engine API here. I'll fix this later. So let's actually see what's wrong with GLFW input now. This one doesn't exist anymore, right? So I wonder what happens in lean pacman now. Yeah, interesting. He now says that GLFW input doesn't exist, right? Let me see what I did here. thinking, should I make these guys like an inline includes? This will be used only in the either Linux or Windows or whatever Mac version of Pacman-C for projects that, you know, this will not be used. Actually, I think I can just do it like this, right? So, can I mean, I wanted to like combine everything in there, but I'm thinking, okay, so I will make something like this. A is gonna be inline, okay, I guess, inline. I could make an inline directory, right? Or impl engine implementation directory. Okay, and then in here I can say, so how do I move file? So it's move C is copy, P is paste, X is cut. So I can say X and then P. Okay. Then I can rename this guy to C.inline C. Like that. Okay. Then I can go here. Ah, I'm having doubts. Should I make these guys as a separate translation unit, for example, or if I do them as separate translation unit, then I need to encode, you know, I need to then include stuff. No, I will not make them separate translation unit, but I will include engine API here. Okay. And I will go all the way down, and I will not have this as well. Go here, dd, and I can 3dd this. I can dd this and paste it somewhere in here, and I guess I can put that, you know, like first some system-wide includes then other guys. I don't need this one. Okay, and I will just write it down and put it in my lean pacman. Where is the lean pacman? Here it is. I will just use this thing like this now. So it's gonna be include dot engine impl glfv input inline C. Okay, and I'm gonna do the same thing with graphics. So where are you? X is this, and paste name dot inline C. Okay, and dd. I wonder why do you need to have. So I will include engine API.h. It will for now keep the bitmap in here, although I don't really like it being there. Why do I even need bitmap? Here I need game mat, right? Let's, one of the things that has overly irritated me is that I would like to have game mat as a single header file, but this thing here, if def change dollar if game def game mat impl. Okay, I will have it like this. This single feather delete dollar. Oof. Oh, single header include define game mat to implement the second step to include implementation. That's it, and just mat. That's how I'm going to do it here. Okay, then I don't need this. I also don't need this. This guy's down there. I don't need this one. So what are you complaining about? Down about the bitmap. That's because I really don't like this, but I will need to. Now this defines I can include. Can include this in defines in engine API. I guess they are in bitmap now. Yeah, 2DD. I can move them to engine API section memory. Create me this. Okay. Then common API is not found. Which is just fine. I will need to push this bitmap somewhere. Oh, why? Why are you defined here? Didn't I tell you not to be defined in here? I just yanked them, right? So these guys all need to go. Bitmap is defined properly, but it has some, stuff. So these things will probably need to be defined somewhere inline. So bitmap page, he wants memory arena. He wants memory arena. I'll need to think about it. Okay, so what I was doing, I've made all this stuff. Let's just make them now. Yeah, this stuff definitely doesn't belong here. This was just test code, so let's let's make it something else. Cool. And let's make unpack alignment 1. And this is obviously we don't need this guy. Use of undeclared. This guy, because there's no memory arena. Will I need to forward declare them again? Yes, I will. God. So I need this. Forward declaration here somewhere. This is program stuff, shaders. This is the definition. Okay, mark B. Insert touch Casares. It. Okay. B. Paste. B. You know what? I will need to reconfigure this. I really want him to just remember my stuff. So these are the functions, right, that are implemented by this function here. Okay, so what else? Where's the problem? There's no problem anymore, I believe. Okay, let's go back here into Pacman. So it's not this. It's inlines include engine import GL graphics inline C. Unknown type name bitmap. I will need to figure this out. Where is that? Import bitmap. Okay, I see. Bitmap format to GL pixel format. Let's just make it now. If like this, so that it compiles. Now here, what I have here. Let me see this memory arena. He wants memory arena. I guess I can just include him. Include engine API, right? So he wants it. I can get it. And now let's see the game itself. Okay, he has only unused functions. So, okay, let's go back in here and we can make a structure type dev struct. Let's call that game API. API. And init function can also initialize me. It can give me game API, okay. All right, and when I go buffer jump to the Pac-Man game, I can say in here game API, and if I would have a forward declares, this I could return myself game API back, right? Game API, init is init, tick is tick, shutdown is shutdown. I need to define the structure. It is not needed and will not be emitted. Wow. Do I need it like this? So I can always say extern, right? How can I... function init is not needed and will not be emitted. Yeah, I'll see what that error means. I'm not sure why it wouldn't be needed. Okay. We are getting there. It's not easy, but we are getting there. So game mat, bitmap h. So let's see the Linux Pac-Man now thing. So if I do it in that way, I'm basically losing I'm in a trouble here a bit. Let's see what can we do now. So we have this impulse, and this guy can be moved in here, and I can say define game mat. Game mat impulse. Define. If I go into definition here, that's the game mat impulse. Yes. Okay, that's it. Let's see what will happen if I can debug build system. One other thing. So game tick function here now. That will all go into this guy, into the Pac-Man game. And let's do this. Let's remove this. Was key pressed. I can only return false here. Let's do. I can return true otherwise. I want to continue, right? Okay, so now I have this game state structure. So this goes away. No more sound playing at the moment. This one will be global graphics. This one is struct type def struct game state. What I have in there, I have float player pos x. I have float player pos y. Cool. In the init function, I will I will say game state. Their game state, I will initialize it to null for now. And in the init API, I will say game state is push to arena. Game memory, size of game state. Okay, and I will say game state player pos x and game state player pos epsilon is something. Cool. Okay, so all the things I'm doing here, I'm getting the screen width and screen height. So I will no longer do that. I will say uint 32 the screen width it's 0. It's 0, and I will just say get screen size. Very good. So it's the engine who needs to know what my screen size is. Let's define. 100. It's delta time. Time. Okay. This is not. It's sorry. It's ggfx, right? Draw sprite, sprite width and sprite height. 16. So the game okay, I need to go in there and into the engine API. I need to declare a new function, get screen size. Where's my graphics stuff? Here it is. ARPFN. Get screen size, and I will return you in 32 height. Very good, thank you. And in here we just say BFN get screen size. Okay, get the screen size. Okay, so now in my graphics inline, I need to initialize the guy. Graphics API. It must be wherever I'm initializing. That's where I'm specifying the projection. Where am I? Initialize geographics, projection matrix. It's the platform who knows what the screen size is, right? In here, I don't need this thing anymore. That's not required, but what is required? It's the GFX screen width and screen height. So it's the Pacman who knows this, right? Okay, I don't. It's not terrible. Okay, so I can always just return a function in here which returns him just that, right? So whenever. So this is all. Going away. This one is also so. Going away. GL viewport. That's fine. The initialize geographics, so there's no more screen width and screen height. Let me check in the engine API. Do I have a... Yeah, I have it. I don't want it to have it anymore here, so that goes away. So the guys here... to do probably not the best way to do this. So let's say gfx. So I have gfx dot size is void runtime screen size with hey. I have it in here. No, it's not here. It's GFX screen with and times 8. Yeah, and now this also say this side. Okay, scale rect to bounce. Yeah. So he has that function runtime screen size. Cool. Okay, even used parameters gfx, update GL viewport. Using that one. Here, okay, this game state stuff no longer happening, right? To do game tick. Woo! Okay, so when we start the game, where will we start the game? So after we have, I also need to do, where's my definition of graphics API, GD. For jump Linux, another 0. It's not in it, right? Unused variable sound. I know. And there's also let's move this guy. Over here. Because this is all important. Temporary sound system, yes, I know. And yeah, we also have that memory error in our game. Memory 0, and then there's an init, right? Memory. How much? 1 megabyte. this, but it is MIP. What it wants in memory arena, void base. Oof. Well, sound is also unused, but okay. So now to do init game init. Yes. Let's make those large to dos because they are colored. Yeah. Game tick. Yes. We have to do game shutdown. I'm not sure now how am I gonna call these functions. Okay. So let me do a short break. Okay, I hope we're still together. So how the question is now, I have everything, I think I have everything set up. The question now is how do I call the functions themselves, right? So what do I do to call the functions? So in game API, engine API, sorry, but the game API itself, Gen API is here, go down. I set, there's a init function. There is a tick function. Let's call this game init. Game tick. Game shutdown. Game init. Game tick. Game shutdown. Okay, so without actually how can I do this? How can I do this? Let me see. I have a problem with my camera. A slight problem. It's not. Let's see how this looks like now. Oops. Yeah, I think that's better. Okay. So if I open Firefox, so how can I find? Okay, let's think like this. So I need to find game init function so I can get pointers to all other functions, right? I assume that these guys should not be static. Should be just normal functions. And I will call them Pacman game init, Pacman game tick, probably Pacman game shutdown. So we should rename them here. And obviously put this here, this, okay. Now he's no longer complaining that he's going to, that he will throw out the Pacman game init function. Should I call them Pacman game init or what? So I have now a simple thing I can do. I can go in here, see make lists, and add source. Right, say it's also Pacman game C. That's another source. And then I can again build system. And I can scripts build, debug everything, right? Cool. I now have access initializer. That's because it's an empty function. I can change that by just going where our sound is, audio, call it, and I can define a engine API function, API function play sound, and it's gonna be void because it will just play that sine wave. Actually, let's call it play sine wave. Okay, and let's add that bfn play sine wave, play a sine wave. Okay, okay. And now my main file should no longer okay. Now I have the Pacman game in here with his functions game init, game tick, game shutdown. And I have the engine API which declares those functions. I can, in my game, in Pacman, I can just say extern. And just import them as extern functions, like I should have extern game init, extern game tick, extern game shutdown, right? But how can I automate that? And if it's a DLL, then I can say it's a pointer to a function, right? Yeah, I can. Yeah, actually, if the engine, if the API runtime, else, and if I don't, I'll fix this soon. But if it's this thing, then it's not type def. It's literally just the name and VA arcs. Okay. If the game say extend here, right? Def game API static, for example, static. Then I can go in here, and since I am doing this static, for now I can say target stuff. I believe I did this jump. It's in the engine API. Go up static. Yeah. Okay. So I declared a game init, game tick, game shutdown, and in the Pac-Man game, I can just change ttg dot. Oops, something wrong. Okay. And I guess I don't need to forward declare them now. I do, because he doesn't see that. Buffer jump engine game tick game shutdown. This should be static. Be static. How do I? Maybe I need to clear the caches here. Clean debug. Let's see this one. Let's still debug clean. Export compile commands. Let me see if he has done that correctly. Where's my link? Think. Yeah, he defined them DG static, you see. So the error from my Pac-Man game is not. This should be declared in the engine API. Because I've told him to, in the engine API, I've told him to make this an extern functions. That should work, right? So extern. So let's see what will he complain about build debug. Okay, unknown type name pfn a game init. So that will be in the engine API. Let me see if I can maybe lsp something restart for this file. Yes, okay, cool. So there's no longer game API. yes, this is this design is evolving. It's no longer game API. And buffer chunk to Pacman game. This one will not return game API no longer. Tick game shutdown. So now he should actually be able to do something very good. So we have again that sound thing unused, but that's was actually expected. So if I go into Pacman here again, I can now call the function game init. I should have game memory. Then graphics and sound. Go back. So that's, yep, that's correct definition. No need for this. Then I can do a game tick here. And my first is input state and time step, which is, what is it? Game time step. Okay, and finally in here we have a game shutdown, which doesn't take anything for now. And now save that and go here and scripts build debug. Yes. Yes. And if I now go and play the Pacman, obviously probably fail with debug games Pacman. Okay, I don't have a sound anymore, but I do have that bitmap we had. It's a red, green, blue. And now texture automatically generated. We are not reacting on the escape, which is bad. Bool should run. Bool game requested shutdown. It's false. Let's just do in here. Game tick if requested shutdown. glfb set window should close to back. That all. That's it now. It's it's vice versa, right? So it will return true if he wants to continue game. Should continue. Actually change word, loop should continue. Loop should run. Game should run. Change our game should run. Not game should run. That's it. Okay, and let's return the functionality for the sound now. Okay. Now let's return the functionality for the sound. Let me go back to engine API. Jump engine. Where's the audio? Here it is. EAPI FN. So stop sine wave. And void. And the API FN is playing is sound sine playing. And now the problem here is that we cannot return values. I can return values like this. Should I just say we have a return type? Change till void. Let's make this void and let's make EAPAFN to have a return type. So so now I need to do this void. Oh, right. Nothing changes for me. I just need to do it. So let's BFN stop sine wave. Sine wave playing. That's it. And in the Linux Pacman, add that thingy for sound. Here it is. Yeah, I need to extract it outside because this will now be global, right? Let's make this like this. Let's move everything. Let's put it here. P. And let's do function void demo sound. Init sine wave. Like this. comment. Let's rename it to change runtime sine wave. And we'll start function to generate sine wave samples. What is it for? 1, 2, 3, 5 dd. So let's paste it here somewhere. This one will also be static. Time. Change word demo sound system audio. Init demo audio. And now I need to do this thing here. Oh my god, why are they sending so much? Let's move this here. Init demo audio. Obviously, I should probably destroy the demo audio, right? Okay, and now we had those functions for let's write this down and API. So we have a void place sine wave, platform place sine wave, runtime place. It's runtime play sine wave. And it's just our source play on source. And we have the function is obviously stop sine wave. Source is playing, and the next function is sine wave playing. Which returns Boolean, right? Turn. I'll get sourcey. That's it. Okay. I think expected tree. What is wrong? Delete word. Zero. The address, then return IS. Now I can specify this function sound. Sine wave. That's it. That's it. That's it. Oh, no member named. Let's fix that up because that's really a bad typo. I think everything is now going in the right direction, right? I think I fixed this. Is sine wave playing? Yes. I did not yet. Okay, and now my game, Pac-Man game, he can say if was key pressed, input state keys, and I'm gonna specify it was key space. Okay, so if what is it, G, S, and D is sine wave playing, stop sine wave, otherwise play sine wave, that's it. Okay, I think this will not work. Oh my god. Oof. Let me just check if both speakers are working. Oh yeah, this is very strong sound. Let me stop it, and we can now again press escape, press space to run the sound, and oh, this is brilliant. Let me see if my OBS was recording everything. Yes, it was. So fine. Okay, so I really like this now. So I basically refactored a bunch of code, a lot of code. But what I also want to do now, I have some issues with the code. I still don't like it. And if I don't like it, then I will have huge. Then I will probably, break it soon. So first issue. GFX, G sound in game. I will rename those to just I won't have a point G there, so that's gonna be kind of strange. But why am I doing it like this? Because I will use these guys very frequently, right? So it doesn't make sense that I have G everywhere, G this, G that. No, that's not gonna work. So I'm gonna rename these guys. So then I can rename this into in. It's just a declaration thing, right? I don't usually name them like this, but I need to name them like this in order to avoid naming collisions. In, okay. So this is now my fix number one. Should it be called Pac-Man game? Or just pacman-c, the file itself. Should this be called I will, okay. I will, what's the, it's just our Linux pacman runtime. That's really large. That's really large name. Or maybe just without the. And this one will be just, you know what? I'm gonna rename it like this. It's gonna be pacman runtime. Because that's what he is, right? It's pacman runtime, but for Linux implementation, right? And then we have a pacman game. And let me make this change word pacman runtime Linux, right? Okay. It's gonna be our new name. Let me scripts gen build debug build system, and then scripts build debug. Yes, that's it. So now it's clearly visible here. Okay, I have a pacman runtime and I have a game. I have my own math library. I have the engine API. So this bitmap h is currently not used. Now in here I will have I will rename this guy to, it will be graphics I will use full names OpenGL. So this is inline file for inclusion. And I will use, I will put input h, input glfw. Right. And now it's, you know, it's visible easily. Okay, this is something with graphics and this is something with input, right? You can immediately see that you want to, you know, which you want, right? So change word, that's gonna be input for glfw. And change word, that's gonna be graphics OpenGL. Yes. Now we should again be able to build it. Yes, we are. And I should be able to debug games pacman. Yes. Okay. And I'm perfectly happy with this. Yes, I am really truly happy with this. The only thing I want to do next is probably just I'm still thinking. So I made support for this. We go all the way down. We have a support for kind of declaring a function as an extend function, which basically means, right, some other translation unit is gonna define the function. So that allows me to create a game with where both the runtime and the game logic is in the single executable. And the other way is if I say if the game API, if I remove that game API static thing, then I will declare pointers to the functions, which will basically allow me to load it from DLL. So with current setup, with current engine capability, where we can render a single 2x2 texture and play some sine wave sound at I think 330 Hertz. Let's check that. Where is the generate sine wave? Here it is, and it's at frequency. We are calling it with 440 Hertz, right? So that's our capability at the moment. So we can, as I said, to repeat, we can render a 4x4 texture and some colored quads, and we can also play sine wave at 440 Hertz mono sound. That's the capability of the engine. So the next task is basically to separate away the Pac-Man games into his own DLL, load it from the runtime, and we can swing this on the handmade hero, then we can basically reload the DLL if he changes. That's a cool thingy, but we will see. I think that my engine will go in a bit different direction, where I will have scripting languages and so on, like Lua or something like that. So I'm not sure if there's any benefit of having DLL, but it is a cool idea, so I will also try it, and we'll see where it leads us. Will this bring us more problems than the advantages or not? So that's the next stream I'm gonna do here. So since we have finished this, right? So I'm gonna commit add everything and commit factor of code base and git. I'm gonna check out the master. What's the branch name here? So git status. The code refactor git check out master. And I think you can do merge, like git merge. No fast forwards. What is it called? Refactor, yeah. Oh, yeah, Control O and yes, Control X. So we have now git status, git log should contain, and git push. I think all the code is now contained there, so let's see that. Yes, it is. Okay, one thing before I leave. I don't know how I can nvim close all buffers. So it's percent bd e sharp. I'm trying to close all the buffers. Let me see, maybe he has something for buffers. Ah, I can close all to the left and close all to the right. Why I was not? Yeah, let me just try this. So if I open back on game, and then I open like engine API, and then I open like game math, and then I open like CMake, and I open like bitmap. Now I want to go to the first guy, and I want to close all to the right, which will be L, right? Yes. Cool. Cool. Okay, that's it. So one more time, let's see git status, just to be careful. Nothing here, out one. Sorry, I need to take this. Okay, that's it. I think, yeah, anyway, I will end the stream now. I like this more and more, so I think sooner than later we will finally be able to do some game logic. So what we still miss in the support from our runtime is obviously a system where I can load any sprite or any sound, and where I can draw any sprite or any sound. We still don't have that. So it's kind of an asset system. So I've left this bitmap.h in here. It's gonna remain here. For now, there's some useful code in there, but this will sooner than later be integrated into platform's asset system, right? So platform, it's the platform who is gonna, the game is gonna request, I want a sprite, right? And it will probably be a sprite under certain name, right? Maybe a Pac-Man left one, right? That's the ID of the sprite that the game knows he needs, right? And then it will be the job of the platform to figure out where exactly that sprite is. Is it, for example, maybe a self-contained bitmap with entire sprite in it, or maybe it's a part of some other bitmap, but it will be the job of the platform layer, of the runtime layer itself to figure this out, right? Next thing that, the other thing that we will do is we will do same for sound, right? So the game will maybe say, I want music, right? It will give ID of the music, tracks 1, for example, a string like a const char, track 1, and the engine will need to be able to load it up. And I'm still thinking, what should we do if the engine, runtime cannot find that thing? It will probably give some kind of warning in the log, but it will most likely just return some default result that we have. For example, for sprite, it can be something totally pink, so that we immediately see, oh my god, yes, something is not loaded here. And for sound, it can be just a sine wave of some kind, so you get some crazy sound when the sound is not loaded. So obviously you will then go and check into the logs. Another thing that I want here is I want reach logging, basically, especially in debug builds. So I'm imagining some kind of system where I can, that will be fast, right? Where I can write up a bunch of data in my log. It doesn't even need to be textual log. It can actually be a binary log, which will directly write the data. Maybe I will even write the profile data in there. I was looking at some Linux profilers, gprof. So this thing looks nice, so I can, record the profile and then analyze it later. But yeah, I'm still thinking how this should be done. Maybe it's just gonna be an in-game console where I can press the tilde key and it drops down and everything is then visible to you. But for now, I'm not gonna go into that direction, but this is definitely a part of even the first game. I want that built in this first Pac-Man game, so when we go further on, we have a system that's very capable, capturing all the events in the game and things like that, right? So it doesn't, that's the point here, is that this doesn't need to be like a generic logger like you would find in Java and Log4j or something like that. This can be very specific logger which can log events, right? Request to load a game asset, right? That's an event, right? Game asset was loaded, that's another event. First event is probably emitted by the game code itself. The second event is emitted by the platform, right? You could have an event in the game log that says, oh, I couldn't find, that game asset thingy. And this can be logged just as, an enum of event type, right? Plus maybe informational message, maybe just a file name, for example, in case if we're loading an asset. And then if this log is binary, we can also store in there some profile information for stuff that we want to see if they are fast enough. Using that RTDSC function, we can just do that, and then we can have our own tool which can kind of output the data in programmer readable format. Another thing that we could also store in these log files is we could store game state at each step. So now we basically at each frame, right, we can in the runtime save this game memory, right? Where's the main function? We have initialized the game memory here. Here it is. And each time, right, I can save it now. So now it's empty. Then after first, after init, oh, did I? Yeah, this is the game init, sorry, and this is where we initialized it. So now I can save it and say that's, on event init. And then in here, we could basically, after each tick, and the tick is here. After each tick, let me try write it like this. I'm not, yeah, that's gonna make it more readable. After each tick, we can save it again, right? And this would basically allow us to replay the game, because if I push in the game state back again from the first frame when I saved it to the last frame when I saved it, I could probably replay it, right? I could see a problem with OpenGL textures and OpenAL sound buffers, but I will try to minimize these problems by having just one texture, just one sound buffer per maybe per channel or something, where I will upload the data during my game runtime, right? So I don't need to have like 100 textures for Pac-Man, right? I can have only one larger texture, maybe 256 by 256, where I store all the data. And if you take a look, what 256 by 256, that's times 3, that's 196 kilobytes of memory, more or less. So 192, right, kilobytes of memory. So that's really not a large memory usage. And if I load them to texture, I probably don't need to have them in memory in my game memory anymore. However, we will need to have a system somewhere in the runtime which will tell us, like, this sprite here, right, which was from this bitmap, is now loaded onto OpenGL texture at this position, right, so that we know from which area of the main OpenGL texture we need to render stuff. That's gonna be an interesting implementation. For first, I'll try to simply make an implementation where I load all the bitmaps into the game memory here, and then I think in OpenGL push them to a texture, do a rendering call, then push something else to a texture, do another rendering call. So I'll see that if that will work properly, right? I mean, it will be very slow, but it probably will work. So yeah, that's it. And I believe that, if we do this in that direction, that we can have an engine that will be able to create us all the games from 80s and probably early 90s. So from Pac-Man all the way to Castlevania or whatnot, and then and even more modern versions of Castlevania, any side scroller. Well, it will probably be able to render stuff like, Age of Empires or Civilization. So these games, this engine should prove to be good enough. So, along the engine, I'll develop some tooling. So I've already mentioned that we will probably need tools to inspect its logs, right? We will also need tools to inspect, what's the word, to create, to define sprites, right? So because you can have a larger sprites, you can have a larger sprite sheet or texture atlases, how they are called now, and then we can say, yeah, let me show, for example, a sprite is the program that I use for 2D pixel graphics, and I have this thing that I did for the Pac-Man game already, right? So this is just my tile set, but as you can see, these things are actually not unique. They are 16 by 16 pixels, but they are not unique, right? This is programmer art, so I will try to do all my art on my own for all the games that we will do here. So I will not necessarily stream that because it's a total catastrophe, but I will do it on my own. I will be influenced by how the original games were done, and I will just try to draw that same thing in a sprite, right? So maybe I teach myself something along the way. But yeah, so for example, I can say, to the game and to the runtime from my game, I need a sprite which is gonna be called, what is this? That's just a normal pack, right? Normal pack, and it starts, at 16, and its width and height is 16, right? So that's my like a pack tile, right? And another thing that he can also ask, I need a sprite which will be kind of outer what's this, outer top left, right? That's the name, maybe ID of the sprite, and that's a sprite starting at 0, and it's 16 again, right? So this is, we will need a tool that defines these sprites. They can be contained in the sprite sheet larger, like I have them in here, and they can be contained, maybe they are individual files, so we will be able to say like this entire sprite is just one file, right? So if the engine requests it, you need to load up that file and put that somewhere in the video card memory, right? And that's it, right? So yeah, that's actually a good name for the engine, right? For the stuff for the graphics card, right? Maybe we can have just a texture, 2D texture on the graphics card and call it a texture memory, right? So we don't need to do some crazy stuff there. Yeah, that's all. So there's probably 16 unique sprites in here, that maybe more, but we can put that all in our texture memory, since texture memory, if I say it's 256 by 256, right? Basically, and my sprite size is 16 pixels, so I can have 16 by 16 sprites in the texture memory, which is 256 sprites. Yes, I'm very old-fashioned and I use calculators. It's easier to calculate, with your fingers than computer. So yeah, that's it. I really enjoy this process and this kind of this is a very nice coding exercise. And where's my, here. And I really hope that I will continue this series. I would really like to continue it. It's really interesting. But yeah, for today, I think I'm already tired enough. So let's stop the stream and see ya next time, I guess. Bye bye.